Hello, my freaky darlings. Welcome back. This week, I'm looking into something that straddles the line between serial killers and urban legends. The Alice killings in Japan tread murky ground. On the surface, it appears to be the work of an incredibly sadistic serial killer. But when you scratch a little deeper, there's no evidence that any of it actually ever happened. But it is a bloody good story. So, here are the gory details of the Alice killings. The first victim was Sasaki Megumi, a 29-year-old restaurant owner. Her employees would probably have called her a bitch or a ballbuster. Her customers, on the other hand, thought she was awesome. Sasaki was also a bit of a party girl. It was after one of those parties that she went missing. She was seen leaving the party at 1 a.m, and that was also the last time she was seen alive. The next morning, a couple walking in the woods about a mile from her house saw a large amount of blood on an overgrown, unused path. So they followed it, and found what was left of Sasaki's body. She'd been torn apart, and her parts had been impaled on various tree branches, like really gory, bloody Christmas decorations. But what was my mind is, what the fuck were the couple thinking? Who follows a bloody trail into the woods? What did they think they were going to find? It's kind of a no-brainer. You don't normally follow a bloody trail. It's just looking for shit. Well, in this case, looking for a bloody corpse. Anyway. So obviously, the couple called the cops, who found a playing card crammed into Sasaki's mouth. It was a jack of spades, which had the word Alice written on it in blood. There were no fingerprints or any DNA to be found. There was, however, vomit on the scene, but the woman admitted that it was hers. I can't really blame her for puking her guts out. I sure as shit would. But, anyway. The second victim was Yamane Akio, a barely known singer in a band that never played anything more than various bars and community functions. His friends described him as an incredibly nice guy, who would never raise his voice off stage. After his death, his band fell apart. They just couldn't bring themselves to replace him. That's so sad. Shame. Yeah. Anyway, he was abducted from his apartment on the 11th of February 2001. He was last seen by his band at their practice earlier that day. That night, his girlfriend went to visit him, but was surprised to find his place empty. Within days, a missing persons report was filed and a search for him began. On security footage from his apartment, a hooded figure could be seen entering through a side door and leaving with a large garbage bag that looked a tad suspicious. This strange appearance was never accounted for, and no one saw the strange man in person. It was widely believed that that was the killer, but his face was never seen on camera. The following week, the owner of the bar Yoshida's, where the band used to play, was opening for the day. Slumped at a table was Yamane's body. His vocal cords had been ripped out, and he'd been shot in the head. His Alice card was a king of diamonds, and was found clutched in his hands along with his ruined vocal cords. Third on the list of victims was a teenage girl, Kai Sakura, who had her whole life ahead of her. She was apparently a sweet kid who wanted to be a fashion designer, and was a week from graduating high school when she went missing. Like any normal family, Kai's family went completely crazy trying to find her, and the whole town was searched. Her body was found 2 days later, buried in a shallow grave marked by her Alice card, the Queen of Clubs. It was taped to a stick and stuck on top of the grave. Kai's body had been horribly mutilated. Her eyes had been carved out and her skin was flayed. Her mouth had been cut wide open. A crown was sewn to her head, likely while she was still alive. But no sexual crimes had been committed, either pre or post-mortem. So I guess that's something. The poor kid wasn't raped as well. So, along with her body was a note written in really bad handwriting, which contained disjointed phrases, some of which were unreadable. But what could be deciphered was fucking creepy, to say the least. Shit like, death is a distorted dream. She will forever rule, and ha ha, those who die are the lucky ones. A match to the handwriting was never found. The last victims and the least gruesome were siblings and in some versions twins, Hayato and Hina. They were found dead in their beds on April 4th, 2005. The cause of death was a lethal injection. The children's bedroom's window was wide open, and it was deducted that the killer snuck in quietly enough to kill the two without waking them. Then snuck back out. Each child held half of an ace of hearts card that, when put together, spelled out the word Alice. The only other evidence at the scene was a very smudged footprint on their carpet. But closer inspection was made impossible by the severe damage done to the print. How the damage was done to that print, heaven only knows. A year later, their mother committed suicide, and their father just never quite recovered from any of it. Can't really blame him. I mean, if I'd lost my entire family, I would also go, a little bit nutty. So shortly after the death of the Oshiro siblings, a homeless guy with mental issues called Suzuki Yuto was arrested for the murders. He claimed not to remember where he was at the time of any of the murders, and the only thing tying him to the crimes was that he was seen wearing the coat that belonged to Yamane Akio. A bit of blood on the sleeve tested positive to be his. He claimed that a demon black man with no face gave him the coat. Suzuki was eventually released when a homeless shelter 5 miles from Kai Sakura's home claimed to have him in their files for the night of her murder. Since there was no way for him to get to where she was abducted and back without being noticed, Yuto was released. On the 30th of April 2008, a producer known as Yugumi P uploaded his first song to Nico Video called Hitobashira Arisu, which translates roughly as Alice of Human Sacrifice. This song is believed to be based off of the Alice killings. It tells the story of a little dream who lures people into its world and then goes on to tell the story of each Alice. So the killings have never been solved, probably because they never happened, or did they? What do you think? Real or urban legend? Anyway, that's it for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you're interested in the things that go bump in the night, serial killers, conspiracy theories, urban legends, haunted places, and other weird shit, please hit the subscribe button or the follow button, depending on which platform you're viewing this on. And if you've read any of my books and enjoyed them, be a freaky darling and please leave a review wherever you bought it. And if you're interested in getting a free copy of my zombie novella Oasis and other freebies and exclusive content, please subscribe to my newsletter. You can find more details about that on my website. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay away from faceless guys with cards. You don't want to end up with an Alice card next to your corpse. Anyway, doodaloo.